Hi, just getting the tech together. I apologize for being a couple minutes late here. All right. Welcome. My name is Damon Brown of DamonBrown.net. My main thing is helping you as a side hustler, as a solopreneur, otherwise a non-traditional entrepreneur. Welcome. This part of Bring Your Worth. My Bring Your Worth channel is over at youtube.com/Brown Damon. So like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm coming to you live. At this point, man, I just checked with Amazon Live. Shout out to the Amazon Live people. I just checked my Amazon Live and I've been coming to you every single Wednesday. It said this is my 18th show. So that's like 4 months. I can't do math today. 5 months? I think it's 5 months. I've lost count. So I am here. I'm excited. I am actually very tired. I had an active weekend. Shout out to Mumbai. I was actually not in Mumbai. I wish I was. I was actually had a virtual talk in Mumbai at 2 a.m. Las Vegas time, early Saturday morning. If you want to check out more about that, go over to DamonBrown.net or check out LinkedIn, my LinkedIn, or you can go and go to my newsletter at joindamon.me. I'll have info on that. But shout out to my people in Mumbai. I had a wonderful time. I spoke at a business center called NL Domain. I think that's how you pronounce it. So forgive me if I'm butchering it, but I love the hospitality. Came through drinking my cha and my coffee so I could stay up all night to connect with y'all to talk about the future of globalism and business. So I am tired today, but I'm so excited to chat with y'all. If you're not familiar with me, you can learn more about my work over at DamonBrown.net. I am a coach. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching for, again, the side hustlers, the solopreneurs, the people who I call non-traditional entrepreneurs. And I'm also author of the new book. Oh, where is it? There it is. Build From Now, How to Know Your Power, See Your Abundance, and Nourish the World. Now in hardcover. Oh, as an independent publisher, having it hardcover hits different. In fact, I'll highlight that on LinkedIn, or I'm sorry, LinkedIn, Amazon Live. So you'll see the link on there for the hardcover. Hardcover just went live like 2 weeks ago. The book itself, the original version of the book, came out January 28th. It's also available in paperback. And then if you like the ears, then you can get the audiobook. If you want signed copies directly from me, you can go to DamonBrown.net and check that out. Happy to sign copies for you, as well as sign copies of what y'all made a bestseller, The Ultimate Bite-Sized Entrepreneur Trilogy, and Bring Your Worth, which is the name of my publishing imprint. So thank y'all again for supporting me all along the way. All right. One last thing. If you want to get more of the insight in Build From Now and you want to learn more about the book and learn about it for free, you can take the free quiz at buildfromnowquiz.com. That's buildfromnowquiz.com. Hundreds of y'all have taken it. We're approaching thousands. So keep it going. And it'll tell you what resources are most important in your life and what are strongest in your life as far as with your focus, your agility, your time, or your energy. If you know what your resources are, then you're able to maximize them, such as writing a 30,000 word book during a pandemic when you got little kids at home. You know, I was only able to do that because I knew what my resources were and how to maximize them. I want to help you on your journey. Again, it's a free quiz. It takes you like 2 minutes, multiple choice. I designed it myself based on the framework that I use in my coaching practice over the years. And of course, based on the new book, Build From Now. All right, now for the jibber jabber, as they used to say. Yeah, Build From Now, which is signed over at DamonBrown.net or available on Audible and all that stuff. But today we're going to talk about the first of the 4 resources that you actually have available to you. Focus, that's the target. You also see it on my Build From Now t-shirt, which is available for you over at DamonBrown.net if you want to swing by there. But we're going to talk about focus. What do you need to focus? My definition of focus, which I share in Build From Now, is caring about something. I'll do the PG version of it. Caring about something, deciding to care about something, and then having that one thing be the only thing that you care about. And it doesn't have to be permanent. Your focus today could be different tomorrow. But focus means saying yes to one thing. And that, of course, requires saying no to a million other things. My time with you, it's 11:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right now over here in Vegas. me spending time with you as opposed to spending time with my kids right now, or working on the next book, or working with a client. That's a choice, because my focus for this upcoming year, and as I support Built From Now, which will be for a little while, is to support you, the side hustler, the solopreneur, the person who might be, as I said recently on the Afrotech interview, which you can catch over my YouTube channel, youtube.com/BrownDamon. As I said in my Afrotech interview, people who are over-mentored and under-resourced. So you might have a lot of people telling you what to do, but there aren't a lot of people that are actually supporting you with the resources that you need. My focus is to help you. So that's how I'm spending my time, right? So what we're going to talk about today specifically are 3 books I think are instrumental in helping you sharpen your focus. There's a lot going on, and focus might be our strongest asset. No offense to people who are more agile, people who have a lot of time, or people who have a whole lot of energy. Focus, though, can get you through, because you have to know, and once you figure out what you're really about, then you have to dig into it and say, okay, this is what my focus is. Otherwise, if you know what you're really about and what you really care about, and then you're kind of all over the place, then you're not actually going to make progress on what you're trying to do, right? So there are 3 books I think really have a good discussion about this. And let's start with the first one, which is out as of yesterday. And it's called A World Without Email by Cal Newport. I don't know why the platform does this, but it mashed it together. So my apologies. It's Newport T, put a space there, HTTPS. It kind of mashes together. If you're checking me out on, on Amazon, then I just lit it up right there. And of course, if you're on YouTube at youtube.com/BrownDamon, you'll see the link in the chat. I also put it into the description if you're watching it on LinkedIn. Shout out to my LinkedIn people. So A World Without Email, it just came out yesterday. I just talked with Cal like a few days ago, and I have the whole interview available on my YouTube channel. I'll throw up the link in a second. This book is really well done. I read it in like 2 days, and it's not a short book. He's known for a book called Deep Work, where he talks about the power of focus and say, I'm going to, spend 2 hours reading and not have my email on, not have my social media buzzing. I'm not going to be going and checking the news every 5 seconds. Sound familiar? Because it was really difficult to do that. Deep Work, the original book, his first major book, came out, I want to say 2016. So he's talking about that back then, before the idea of fake news and before the pandemic and before political chaos. And no matter what side of the aisle you're on, it's been a chaotic 3, 4, 5 years. His book came out before this, became a bestseller, put his name on the map. He was just a college professor relaxing, studying these things about focus. And he became, a semi-superstar. So I got a chance to talk with him about A World Without Email. He sent me an early copy. Fascinating book. The book basically argues that email was created for us to be more productive because we could do more things on our own. This idea of autonomy, right? If I have a coaching client, or if I have someone who wants me to do a keynote talk, or I have someone who wants me to write an article and the editor got back to me or the publisher got back to me, I don't need to stop everything right now and talking to you when the phone rings, like they would do in the 50s and 60s and even 70s back when I was a kid. Like, we don't have to do that. Now it could be getting email or Slack messages or whatever, and then that's called asynchronous. Synchronous means it has to be at the same time. The stuff we use today is asynchronous, right? So I could be getting shout outs on Clubhouse. I could be getting tweets, name it, whatever is hot right now, whenever you happen to be watching this, if you're not watching it live. Whatever's hot right now, it's probably asynchronous. The problem with that is that it's always coming. If my phone rings right now, I don't have to answer it. That's a lot of times I don't. Again, you got to have your focus. And so you have that power of, with its synchronous conversation, someone coming and knocking on the door and saying, I want to talk to you right now. You don't have to answer the door. You don't have to do that. But if someone's emailing you, that joint's going to be sitting there. And if you got your phone set up in a certain way, those notifications are going to go like this. Damon. Someone wants to talk to you. And it's not going to shut off. It's not going to shut off until you turn the phone off or until you answer that email. So there's a forced connection that's always happening. How do you actually get work done if that notification keeps going and going and going and going. And so email, which I think is really important, what Cal talks about is that email actually itself isn't the problem. This is kind of a catchphrase because world without email, that kind of shifts it, but it doesn't have to be email. It could be Slack. It could be social media notifications. It could be Clubhouse, the new joint that just came out a few months ago. It could be any of those, but just the communication form is turning us into having to connect with other people and it being a forced connection. And then it's us becoming almost obsessed with that connection to the point where we can't focus. Me talking to you for this half hour, however long ends up being, I'm not checking my messages. I'm not, listening to see, if the notifications are going off on my phone. I'm not all over the place. I'm talking to you. That's the power of focus. That's why I like to help you get to. And every day I'm trying to refine my own focus. This book is a good starting point in that. If you want to learn more about the book and hear an exclusive interview I had with Cal, you go to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/BrownDamon. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, so forth. My interview with Cal just went live on Monday, so it'll be on there under my Bring Your Worth, #BringYourWorth show, which is the name of course, my book. And of course, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Name of my book and also my imprint. So it's the predecessor to the new book, Build From Now. But it's the name of my imprint. I have a regular show that I do. This is actually part of it, where at this point, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11:30 a.m. Las Vegas time, West Coast time, Pacific Standard Time, I will connect with you. And on Monday and Friday, it's a specific coaching discussion. Because again, I do one-on-one coaching. It's a specific coaching discussion that lasts about 10 to 15 minutes about a business thing that's happening within pop culture. And then every Wednesday so far, 11:30 a.m., I do a live show where I'm chatting with y'all, giving book recommendations and trying to give more insight in a dynamic environment. Feel free to throw your questions and comments into there. Monday's show was all about Cal Newport. This is the link to it. I've already gotten great feedback on it. I'm so glad that you guys appreciated the interview. It was a lot of fun to do, as you can tell. Cal and I have a lot in common. We both have little kids. We're both trying to help people not only be more productive, but also to make an impact on the world. And that requires focus. So it felt like really good timing for his book coming out, for me to chat it up with him. Again, you can watch the whole interview on there. Like it, share it, subscribe. If you don't agree with some of it, put that in the comments too. Not these comments, but in the comments on the YouTube channel. If you want to not miss an episode every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, be sure and subscribe right now at youtube.com/BrownDamon. And there's a little subscribe button. You can't miss it. All right. So number one, a world without email. It's hot off the press. I think it's already number one on like 2 or 3 different Amazon charts. So congrats, Cal. You absolutely deserve it. Once you listen to my Cal Newport interview, you'll understand why I'm saying that. And he has a lot of knowledge to give. So congratulations to him. All right. Number 2, y'all know about this. If you're familiar with my show, Essentialism by McKeown. Oh, got the book this time. Awesome. Man, he has a new book called Effortless. I haven't even touched the new book. No offense to Greg. I think it's on the bestsellers list. I can't wait to get to it. I'm still obsessed with his book from 7-8 years ago. Fascinating book. Essentialism is basically saying what I said in the beginning. If you're going to say a big yes to something, you're going to go all in, hustle, whatever terminology you want to use, you got to say no to a whole bunch of other stuff, right? For me to work on a major book last year and to have it come out January 28th, Built From Now, for it to come out January 28th, that required me saying no to a lot of things last year, so it required me saying no to certain articles I would have written. It required me saying no, even to some opportunities that sounded really interesting, but I'm like, I got to finish the book to make sure it comes out January 28th because I made a commitment to y'all to serve you in that way. So that's essentialism. For me to be a stay-at-home dad and the primary caretaker of my 2 kids who are 4 and 7, for me to do that with them since birth, that required me saying no to a heck of a lot of things. But I knew that being a guiding light in their lives was essential to me. Everything else was secondary. So it made those decisions a lot easier. They weren't always fun decisions. There were great business trips, speaking opportunities, even financial opportunities, like the direct impacts. And it's like, now I got to take care of my boys. I wouldn't have it any other way. But to understand that you do those sacrifices, and they become a lot easier once you decide what your ethics are, what your main focus is. I talk about that actually in Build From Now, as far as you knowing what you represent, what you don't represent. And it's so important to talk about that. And Build From Now, as well as the predecessor, Bring Your Worth, which are both available through my website at danebrown.net, as well as through Amazon and all the major platforms, and as well as on an audiobook, if you want to hear my voice. That's your call on that one. But Essentialism is, I bring it up probably like once a month, because it's it's an essential book. And there's a reason why it's been on the bestseller list for, a decade and a half. So if you're trying to get focused, one of the biggest problems that I've seen and challenges that I've seen with people that I've coached is it's hard to focus when you don't know what your priorities are. How are you going to know what you're going to focus on? Right? It's like, this opportunity sounds good. This opportunity sounds good. Let's do all of it. But if you do all of it, then you're not going to do any of it. As he says in Essentialism, which I actually quote him in the new book, Built From Now, the Greek word for priority means one, or the one, right? So you can't have 15 priorities. Sorry, 15 priorities. You can't do that. Like, priority, according to Greg McKeown, actually means the one. So you have one priority. My priority, make sure my kids are straight, and beyond that, and of course, my partner, my wife, beyond that, everything else is extra, right? Are they straight? Okay. And I'm straight? Okay, great. All right. Well, then everybody's okay. And everything builds from there. And so the successes that you might see in my career, or the TED Talks I've done and stuff like that, it's built on the premise of they were taken care of. And I was able to do those TED Talks, and I was able to come up with these best-selling books, and I was able to start a coaching practice, as you hear them in the background. You know what I mean? It's like, but it came from that idea of essentialism. If it was the other way around, and I said my family and my kids or whatever were my priority, but then I was doing all these other things, then I'd end up being pretty bad at both. As I say in The Ultimate Bite-Sized Entrepreneur, which came out a few years ago, purple book, there we go. Which came out a few years ago. I have a short chapter. They're all short chapters, but I have a short chapter in there where I talk about some of the best advice that I had ever gotten was me wanting to be abroad. And I think I had an opportunity to do another TED Talk or something. It was something major going on. It might have been an overseas talk. It was quite a few years ago. And my youngest had just became a toddler. I think he was like 1. And then my eldest must have been like 4. And I was like, how the hell am I going to go on the road and do this overseas talk or whatever when I'm the primary caretaker and my wife has a traditional job? So, we didn't have that kind of support at the time as far as family. And as far as family being able to come in and take care of the kids. And she said, my mentor said, well, you have to decide what you're going to represent. You can be an amazing dad while you're being a dad, and then not be on stage. Or you can be on stage and be an amazing speaker and be present to the people here, and then be an awful dad because you're not there. But if you try to do both, you're going to suck at both. You're going to be a mediocre dad, and you're going to be a mediocre speaker. Just like when I'm talking to you right now, I'm not thinking about my kids. No disrespect, right? But as soon as we hang up, I'm not thinking about yo, I'm thinking about my kids. So the idea of being fully present falls into focus. That's a thread throughout my books. That's a huge thread in Essentialism. I ended up reading this book right after I wrote my first independent bestseller, the Bite-Sized Entrepreneur. So I must have read it like 2016, and it really changed my focus. So thank you, Greg. I always give him props, and I've talked to him in the past, and always give him his flowers because it's such a fascinating book. It's worth grabbing if you're having a hard time focusing. We can get to a bigger discussion as far as why it's so hard to focus, because it was hard to focus before, but this year has been a proverbial circus. Here in America, we're going on a year sheltering in place. Sheltering in place here in Vegas began on the week of St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is like in a week and a half now. And so we're hitting that Groundhog's Day point. Of course you can't focus. But I think most of us had a hard time focusing before. Now we just realize it. As I talk about Built From Now, it's like the air conditioner turned off. And suddenly we're able to hear and we realize all the issues that we've had all along. All right, so from the top, number one, World Without Email. Check out Cal Newport's new book. It just came out yesterday, Tuesday. I think books come out on Tuesday. I'm so out of the traditional publishing loop. I think they always come out on Tuesday, just like music used to, which has changed as well. Now I'm showing my age. World Without Email, excellent book. Be sure to check out my exclusive interview with Cal Newport. It's like 30 minutes long. It's chopped up into chapters. You really will enjoy it, I believe, if you're curious about Cal Newport's work at all, or if you know his big bestseller, Deep Work. You definitely want to catch the interview. It's over on my YouTube channel. That link right there. I'm not going to repeat it. If you want to join my YouTube channel and just subscribe to it so you get notifications when cool stuff comes up, go to youtube.com/BrownDamon. Hit the subscribe button. All right. I just talked effusively about essentialism. I cannot stop talking about this book. I read it like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So worth it. You need it on your shelf. I just pulled that hardcover off my shelf. It's that Blank Space by Bogota. That's where it stands. And I don't have that many books over on my shelf. Most of them to the side. It's definitely worth having. As I mentioned, I know quoting his book and my new book, Built From Now, available in paperback as well as in hardcover. And this is actually an Apple and Amazon. Sorry, Amazon. This is actually Amazon exclusive. This is a partnership with them because they're doing hardcovers. Let's rock on, Amazon. Congrats to you for taking a risk and allow us to do some hardcovers over there. The paperback is available everywhere. If you want a signed copy of the paperback or my other books, come through to damonbrown.net. Lastly, one of my favorite mentors in the universe, and I'm proud to be able to say that, Seth Godin, The Practice. I think it's called Shipping Great Work. I think that's the subtitle. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Really good book. There's this newest book. I want to say The Practice came out in the fall. I want to say October, September. Yeah, I pre-ordered. I didn't pre-order it, but as soon as I heard about it, I ordered it. It was just done on the Kindle, chilling. So I do not have a physical copy. I have to get a physical copy. As I mentioned, I actually went through Seth Godin's and Kimball marketing seminar as I was working on my new book, Built From Now, which I just talked about. And it was a fascinating experience to go through that. So I've had a chance to talk to him asynchronously, to use that big word from the top of the program. So I'm honored to be able to even be in his circle. I've been admiring his work for going on decades now, and he's been in the game for many, many years. The practice comes down to this. You cannot decide, you cannot predict, you cannot know the outcome of the work that you do. Therefore, it's out of your control. Built From Now could be ripped up and turned into toilet paper later on this year. Or it could be hailed as one of the best books of all time. I don't know. How much can I control that? Guess what? I can't. In other words, it doesn't matter. What matters is that I did the book. What matters is the work. What I have control over is the practice. My YouTube channel, I just hit 100 subscribers over the weekend, connected with a lot of folks from Mumbai, and they subscribed. So thank you. I'll give a link to my YouTube channel. Y'all like the YouTube channel. That's cool. I started 3 months ago when I got serious about it. Was I going to hit 100 subscribers, which is considered kind of a milestone with YouTube? I don't know. But I showed up every day, and now I'm showing up every other work day, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You're going to see me here live on Wednesdays, recorded on Monday and Friday. I'm doing the practice. So why this ties into focus is because you have to not only be focused, and that requires a lot of willpower, I admit. You not only have to be focused, but you have to be focused on the right thing. I would argue that the right thing is always your work. How you're showing up. How you're showing up, what you're giving to other people, how you're providing a bigger discussion. How are you adding to the culture? That's it. What else is there? If you focus on, let's use the example of books or music, if you focus on having a platinum album, or having a bestseller, then you're not focused on your vocals. You're not focused on the quality of the sounds. You're not focused on the discussions that you're having within your music. If you have words in your music, if you have verbal music, you're not focused on who you want to have the book. You're not focused on adding something to the conversation that hasn't been written before, right? You're not focused on the discipline of writing every single day. Your focus is over here, over here, over here. And a lot of those things, including having a bestseller, including having a platinum album, all those things, you don't have that in your control. Seth's book is excellent, as are a couple of his previous books. The one right before this, Everything is Marketing, I believe that's the name of it. I actually might like that more than The Practice. But when it comes to focus, The Practice is the one to read. They're both excellent. You should actually get both of them. If I would have thought about it, I would have threw the link in there. But you can find them on any of the major book platforms. But The Practice one is the one where it talks about this idea of focus. What are you focused on? What are you focused on every single day? I'm focused on serving you every single day. Now, whether I get a major keynote and I get paid a whole lot of money for it, whether this book becomes a bestseller or ends up sitting in a dustbin somewhere, whether I end up becoming rich and famous, I don't want the famous part, but if I end up becoming rich and famous, or, I end up being destitute somewhere, those are things that I do not have direct control over, or I have limited control. And I'm being extreme and facetious about it, of course. But what I do have control over is showing up, figuring out how I can serve you and showing up every single day. And so it doesn't matter if it's super high or super low. I've experienced both over the past year, as a lot of us have. That's why it's so important to have the discussion about focus, which talk about more in Build From Now. That's why it's so important to have this discussion about focus right now, because we need it. There's so many entities, so many systems, so many people that want to have us distracted. That's my opening quote to Build From Now. There's so many people that want to have us distracted right now for you to forget your particular purpose. My job is to not let you do that, or at least to remind you that you have a bigger purpose. But it doesn't matter if you're not focused on it. As I say in the book, there could be a whole circus happening right now, which last year and going into this year was quite a circus. But my job is still focusing on you. That's what The Practice is about. That's what Seth is getting at. And I so admire from him, and, getting to know him just a little bit, through the marketing seminar, what he talks about in the book, he lives that. And I appreciate him being a shining star for that. So anyway, I can talk about Seth all day. Love the book. Get it right away, particularly if you're struggling with focus. All right. So from the top, A World Without Email by Cal Newport. Excellent book. It just came out. Please support him. He's got lots of support. He can use some more. We always need support as creators. The argument that he's talking about, we need to have it right now. In fact, I'm doing an exclusive interview with him on my show. And you can get a link to that right there. You go to youtube.com/BrownDamon, subscribe to make sure you don't miss it. There is Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Highly recommend this book if you want to figure out where you want to focus. Good stuff. Again, it was a game changer for me, and it really influenced my earlier work. And even now, because I quote it in my new book, Build From Now. And The Practice by Seth Godin. Highly recommend it. I love the book. It is excellent. Also, his previous book, I believe it's called it's not Everything is Marketing. It's called This is Marketing, which came out. He comes out with the books as much as I do. So I think The Practice came out 6 months ago. I want to say in the fall. This is Marketing came out a year before that. Both excellent books. But if you're struggling with focus, this is the one. If you want to learn more about the best resources for you, and you want to get it for free and learn more about the Build From Now system and the structures that are available in the new book, take the free quiz at buildfromnowquiz.com. It's a multiple choice quiz, 2-3 minutes max. It'll help you understand what your biggest resources right now, because otherwise, if you don't know what your resource is, how are you going to make impact on the world if you don't know what your strengths are? It's a free gift to you. And yeah, come through. If you want to learn more about Build From Now, you go over to damonbrown.net. You get signed copies of Build From Now from me, signed copy of the paperback or the previous books. And if you actually want the hardcover of it, head over to Amazon. We actually have the hardcover, which is crazy. And you get the softbacks, paperbacks, whatever you want to call them. Used to call them softbacks back in the day. You get that over at DamonBrown.net. Get signed copies from me, as well as the Built From Now merchandise and other cool stuff. You can also get the audiobook from audible.com, Apple, everywhere. We're taking over everywhere. I'm so excited about it. By we, I mean me, because I'm on imprint. So I just like saying we, because it feels selfish to say me. All right. So you can grab Built From Now. Again, you take the Built From Now quiz for free at builtfromnowquiz.com. And if you're enjoying what you're hearing, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/BrownDamon. Subscription button's right there. I would have thrown up the subscription link, but you guys can find it. All right. Anyway, here's to being more focused. I'll be breaking down the other resources that are available in Built From Now, because we have focus, agility, time, and energy. We'll be talking about all of them probably over the month of March. So please stay tuned. Again, if you don't want to miss anything, go to youtube.com/BrownDamon and subscribe. Thank all of you who have subscribed too. Again, I just hit a major milestone, so I want to celebrate with you, maybe next time with champagne. Until next time, remember you can always bring your worth, and that you can always build from now. Take care.